Ooh, back in the shop with the only man who does RX8s, Austin. My man, what's going on? How you doing?
I'm all right today.
Yeah? What are you working on?
RX8.
So what do we got here? What do we got here?
This is a half bridge. Basically, like a full bolt-on. I guess. I don't know. It's getting upgraded in ignition coils, mid-pipe, all that jazz.
Yeah.
New tune.
Okay.
So it should make some jam.
Nice. Did you just put the motor in, or?
Yeah, I just got it in. I should have it running in about 2 hours.
Nice. Sick. So what all have you done so far?
I got the AC compressor on. Got the mounts in. These BHR coils are the bomb.com, so
Yeah.
just got those on. Made my custom oil cooler line kits.
Oh, nice.
So just piecing it together.
Yeah.
So
generally, like, how long does it take you to get a motor in?
Sometimes that depends if I have these kits pre-made or not. You know, it definitely takes some time to make them. So,
Yeah.
I mean, it definitely saves a lot of time if I have spare time to, you know,
Make them.
prefabricate them before I do my next job.
Wow.
So-
Hands of diamond right here, ladies and gentlemen, making all the oil cooler lines. Because you make these lines, but they are, like, you have everything measured out.
Yeah. I have everything written down on my laptop.
Nice.
So I just grab the fittings I need, grab the length I need for the AN line, just cut it. And I know how I do it, so,
Yeah.
you know, made a couple revisions of it, you know, added some P clamps. Actually, I can show you here. Me and Morgan came up with an idea here about this. The way the front bumpers are on the RX8s, I ran the oil cooler line through the vent to help cool the line too, on top of the coolers.
Oh, okay. All right.
So we decided to throw some rib nuts in the bottom right here, make it look nice and clean, orientate it, and then what happens is that the airflow goes through there on the bumper and actually cools the line as well on top of both oil coolers. So keeping those oil temperatures down are pretty important for these rotary engines. So
How long does it take you to do these, run these lines, make them and whatnot?
sometimes up to like 2 hours.
Yeah.
You know, depends on how easy the OEM lines come apart. And just
Takes a little bit of time.
takes a little bit of time.
I mean, like, what would you say, like, if you were recommending someone, if they were going to change out their oil cooler lines and stuff like that, like, what would be the best plan of action to go in, changing out their oil cooler lines and how they could do it?
Well, you definitely got to remove the under tray, and then sometimes these lines they tend to rust really bad, so that's why we replace them with these AN lines. Plus, they hold more pressure when we bump the O and P pressure up.
Okay.
So it's just all around better performance for that. But as far as they all leaking, the OEM ones leaking and rusting out, we just, you know, sometimes I'll just cut them with like a die grinder or something like that,
Okay.
and just
Put the new
just
ones in.
take them, unbolt them from the frame and pull them out the sides. Like you just unhook them here, unhook them there. One off the old pedestal, one off the front cover. Just unbolt them, and then you can unbolt the M6 bolts that are on this frame right here on the top, and then you can cut it right here and slide it out the side.
Okay. Nice.
Like before, we had like the cold air intake comes down behind this crash bar here, and we were having the oil cooler lines run up there, but it was kind of like conflicting because they were hitting each other. And we want to keep the vibration down on lines. We don't want it to like rub through or nothing. So like that's how we came up with this idea, you know, of doing that. Plus the vent in the bumper just kind of like added the cherry on top. So
There it is.
on there to add extra resistance for this, and typically you would beat this with a hammer to like fold it in so it wouldn't like rub through, 'cause that's kind of sharp, you know. But you know, when it's down here like this, it's completely out of the way, you know. So
Yeah. Okay. It's not a bad idea, honestly.
Yeah.
Gets you a cleaner look. It's not in the way. It's not dangling. It's not beating around in there. So
the
it's
only
pretty good.
the only downside I see out of all of it, if I was to like sell these kits online, You know, I can add the P clamps, I can add all the fittings and the lines, but not everybody's gonna have a drill and a rib nut to put these in on these locations.
So what you're saying is, if someone's looking to do upgraded oil cooler lines, where should they go?
They should definitely come here to RPM.
There it is, man.
To do it without any, like, just as simple as possible as like a plug and play ordeal, this is the best way I've come up with so far.
Okay.
So like, these are part of the OEM oil cooler lines, and they're actually in pretty fair condition, but you can see where the corrosion builds up in there and eventually causes them to leak around the seal. Plus, you know, when we bump that pressure up, that's just not gonna fly. And it's a lot easier for maintenance as well. If you ever gotta remove them or service them, it's 10 times easier than fighting that little GM style clip that holds them in.
Yeah.
And they're a lot more flexible too, so.
Okay. You have a little bit more room for maneuvering around.
Yeah, and everybody loves the way braided line looks, so.
Yeah.
I mean, braided line makes anything look faster.
Yeah. Thanks, man.
At Carlos's 3-rotor here, you can see more of a presentable of the AN line being finished up. These are a lot more cleaner. I mean, they disperse heat better. A lot of them are E85 friendly, stuff like that.
For like your fuel lines and stuff like that. So you can pretty much use AN
You
lines.
can see the fuel lines back there.
Oh, wow. Yeah. So you can use your AN lines for not only oil, but fuel, water, pretty much anything you can swap those lines out for.
Yes, sir.
And they hold pressure better, heat disperse. What would you say for anyone that's kind of on the fence about it? Would you just say like it'd be better to spend the extra money, or would you just say like stick with the rubber lines?
I mean, that's all a budget thing. You know, some people out there, you know, they're on a budget crunch.
Yeah.
And you gotta do what you gotta do sometimes to get your car running.
Right.
But if you can swing it, I would definitely do it.
Okay, cool.
You know.
Thanks, man.
Yep.